So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take a spreadsheet like this and turn it into a dark mode like that. So in 5 easy steps, we're going to do that. If you're interested in creating this mail planner yourself, I do have a free workshop that I'm going to link below that you can join and learn how to create this from scratch, or you can grab some templates if you want templates. But alas, let's hop into the video. So there is 5 steps to turn this into this. And the first thing I want to do is I want to, choose my colors. So I want to choose what the dark mode, you could do black, you could do a dark gray, you could do dark blue, any sort of dark color that you want to create for your dark mode. You want to choose the background color first. And then we do want to go and figure out what color palettes that we want to add to it. Because once we start customizing everything, we need to know our colors. So I highly recommend doing a bright color on top of it, but you could test out whatever color scheme that you want. Just make sure that it kind of pops off of the dark background. So you just want to make sure that it's going to look good. So I'm using coolers right now. I'm going to link it below as well. I'm going to look for some pastels, but you can also look for bright. I wouldn't go with dark because dark on dark doesn't really look good, but you want it to stand out. So in the pastels, I'm just going to scroll a little bit. And I really like this color scheme. So I'm going to use this for my color schemes. As you can see, they're quite bright. They're kind of like highlighters, so it will pop off nicely on the dark background. So once we've chosen our colors, that's step 1. Now what we want to do is actually change the colors. Actually, that was step 1 and 2. You need to make sure you choose your background color first and then do your accent colors. Now we're on step 3, because now I'm going to show you how to change the background color. So I'm going to go in my spreadsheet over to the top left corner between the A and the 1. I'm going to select that little rectangle of gray, and what that does, it selects all the cells within the spreadsheet. This will allow me to change the whole background color at once. So now that all those cells are selected, I'm going to come up here to the fill color, so it looks like a little paint can that's being poured out. We're going to click on that, and you're going to choose out your color. So you can either choose from the preset ones, or if you know a specific hex code of the background color that you want, you could just hit that plus button and use either the hex code or the RGB code, or again, you can play with the color wheel and figure out how dark you want it to go. I'm going to do black, just hex code 60, so 00000, and I'm going to use that one, but you can use whatever color you want. So once I have chosen my color, I'm going to click OK. Don't worry, you won't get this warning. It just comes with the template I'm using, so don't worry. And it should turn like this. That's what your spreadsheet's going to somewhat look like, which is great because this is exactly how we want it to look like. So the next step is we need to change the text color because we want that to actually stand out. And we want to know what area has which text. So again, everything is selected still. As you can see, the dark blue just means that it's all selected. I'm going to come over to my text color and I'm going to choose a lighter color. So for this one, I'm going to just choose a white, but you could choose any light color that you want. And you want to make sure that it really stands out so it's easy to read. So I'm just going to select my text color and I'm going to come over here and choose the white. So as you can see, it really pops off. I can easily read the text that's on there. I'm quite happy with that. Now that changes the color for all of those specific cells. Now, if you need to change the color of a specific, like one cell over the other, let's say maybe this is going to be too light of color. Let me do like a yellow. Oops, wrong thing. Let me say the background because we're going to change our colors anyways. But let's say I end up doing a yellow as my background color of this cell. As you can see, the white, it doesn't really contrast with that light yellow. So you might have to go and individually change out the colors of the font so that they actually stand out, depending on what colors you've chosen. So just remember that even though we just changed all of the text to be white, you might have to go back to certain cells and change the colors to make sure they stand out against whatever accent colors you've chosen. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So now that we've done that, we want to change the borders. You might not need to do so depending on what color borders you have, but as you can see, the borders around my cells aren't really standing out. They're kind of blending in and I really want them to stand out. So all I'm going to do is select my cells and start changing out the border color. So I've selected my cell here. I'm going to come over to the borders And we always want to choose our border color first and the style as well first before we apply them to any cells. So I'm going to choose the not quite white. You could choose white if you want to, but I'm just going to do a light gray 3. And then I'm going to keep my borders as my thin line, but you could change it to whatever style you want. And then now we want to apply it to whatever sides that you want of your specific cell range. So for this one, I'm just going to do all borders. As you can see, it really stands out right now compared to all the rest. So now I'm just going to go and select all my different ranges and apply my border to them. So I'm just going to do this quickly. You will take your time and then add the borders to whatever cells you want to add them to. As you can see, it's really making them stand out more. And if you're using a spreadsheet like mine, where a lot of the same cells are repeated, like my first day is the same as my second, as my third, as my fourth, I will show you a little hack so that way we don't have to go through and copy the grid lines, or sorry, the borders to every single area. So once you've applied it to your first day or your first section, and let's say this section is the exact same as my next one, I'm going to use the paint format brush to copy it over. So what I'm going to do is select the entire range of cells that I want to copy the formatting of. So as you can see, I copied for the entire day. I've selected the entire day's cells. And then I'm just going to click on paint format brush and then click on the very first cell of the next range I want to copy the format to. So as you can see, it just took the same formatting and copied it over. So now I'm going to do it for all of the rest of them. I'm just clicking on the paint format brush and copying it over. So that works great for sections that are like duplicated or copies of another. But sometimes you just have to go like, so this grocery list, it's not the same as the other, so I'm going to have to go and individually add my borders to this, which is fine. So I'm just going to do that now. Add that in. Just to make sure that they really stand out. Oops. You're getting in the way, head. Get out of the way. There we go. There we go. Now we can grab it. So as you can see, I'm just going section by section. So this might take you a little bit longer depending on what your spreadsheet looks like, and that's totally okay. So I'm just going to grab, I'm almost done, and then we can head on to the next section. There we go. Okay, so the next task that we're going to do is actually add some colors to this, because I mean, oh, actually I forgot this one. Sometimes you have to go back and make sure that you've actually updated all the different areas for your borders. But as you can see, this is nice, but it's a little bit boring. Let's add a little bit of color to it. So I've already chosen my color palette here. So I'm going to use 3 different colors from here. So I'm going to use this pink, I like this blue, and I like this purple. Now, the yellow and the green are great, but they're very light colors. So like I showed you before, if you do use a lighter color, you might have to go and manually change the color of the font that's on top of it, because it might not stand out with having a white font. So you might have to change it to a darker font. Just be aware of what colors you're using. You might have to adjust that. So I'm just going to grab my hex code. I'm going to hop over here, and then I'm using on a Mac, I'm going to use the command button. If you're on a PC, it should be the control button. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to individually select the cells that I want to change the colors of. And in my own preference, I usually change the colors of areas my customers won't have to edit. So for example, the date here, they don't have to edit. These titles here, they don't have to edit. The other areas, they will, so I don't add any background colors to that other than the dark mode version, or the dark mode color. But as you can see, I'm just grabbing these headers and I'm going to color them. So again, on a Mac, I'm using command and I'm selecting each of those individual cells. If you're on a PC, you're going to be using the control button and then selecting each of them. So now I'm going to go to my fill color. I'm going to go to the plus button and I'm going to paste in my hex code. So as you can see, it's a lovely pink. I'm going to click OK. You won't see this, don't worry, it's only on my template. But you should see an automatic change with that. So that looks great. Now what I want to do is I want to go grab my second color. So I'm going to go grab this blue, come back over here and do the same thing for the next one. So I'm just going to select all the cells that I want to add this background color to. Then I'm going to go the fill color, click on the plus button, paste in my hex code, and click OK. Oh, that's looking lovely. Okay. And then I want to go and grab my purple. And then I'm going to, again, select the next day's headers. And I'm going to go up to the fill color, hit the plus button, paste in my hex code, and click OK. So that looks great. I'm quite happy with that. The white does stand out, so I'm happy with that. I don't need to make any changes with the color of the white text. Let me just edit this to be purple. There we go. So I'm quite happy with that. And now, because I do have a few more days to copy over, I can use the same paint format brush, but what I'm going to do, because this is a weekly meal planner, I have 3 days done and I have to complete the next 4. What I'm going to do is select my very first cell. I'm going to hold the shift key and go all the way to the bottom of my 3rd day, because what I'm going to do is copy all the formatting from this and apply it to the next 3. So I'm going to use the paint format brush. I'm going to click on the next cell that I want to add that formatting to, and as you can see, it's updated all the way across, which is awesome. So now I have my 7th day that I have to add to. So now I'm going to select the next color. So this one would be a pink. So I'm going to go grab my pink. Holding the shift key, I'm going to go grab to the end of that range because I'm going to copy over that formatting using the paint format brush. And then I'm just going to select on that specific day. So as you can see, that's changed. Now all I have to do is update this one. And again, so this one's going to be individual. That I have to do this. I can't use the paint format brush because it's not the same format, or it's not the same amount of columns and design, like layout, as these ones. So I can't use the paint format brush for that. But I can just individually change these, and this one's going to be blue because that's next color. Perfect. So I'm quite happy with the way that's looking. And then if you want to change some fonts, we could change some fonts. So for the one that I did here, I used Quicksand and Sacramento. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go up to my lovely little gray rectangle between the A and the 1 in their top left corner here. That selects all the cells. I'm going to change the body text first, and I'm going to change it to Quicksand. So as you can see, that changed everything to Quicksand. Lovely. And then I'm just going to choose my title, and I'm going to change that to Sacramento. And then I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. So you can choose whatever fonts you want, but that's how I've decided to style it a little bit. So again, if you want to learn how to create step-by-step this exact meal planner, I'm going to share a free workshop down below that you can join and learn how to create this from scratch. And also, if you want to check out, I do have a free mini course teaching you all the basics of Google Sheets. So it's perfect if you're brand new to Google Sheets. It's called the Wild Heart Spreadsheet Academy. I will link it below as well. But you get this awesome free mini course with bite-sized tutorials showing you all the basics of Google Sheets, as well as you can make a really pretty weekly planner. And there is a custom GPT to help you choose the first 5 spreadsheets you're going to create. So that is a freebie. I'm going to link it below. It's called the Wild Heart Spreadsheet Academy. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos.